In this video, we are going to talk about rational functions. We're going to review domain of rational functions as well as other key characteristics of rational functions. So the first thing we're going to review about rational functions is the domain. And the domain of a rational function is all real numbers except any value that would make our denominator 0. So if I look at number 1, I would think, okay, x plus 2 cannot equal 0. So that means x cannot equal negative 2. So that means my domain would be all real numbers except negative 2. So how I write that interval notation would be negative infinity to negative 2, union negative 2 to infinity. In B, I need to factor this denominator. Now we don't have to. Technically, you could solve it by square roots. But it's easier to say that x cannot equal negative 3 and x cannot equal 3. So when I'm doing this domain, I'm going to have two spots where it cannot equal. And so my domain will look like this. Negative infinity to negative 3, union negative 3 to 3, union 3 to infinity. C, I really do have to factor. So I need to think about two numbers that multiply to negative 6 and add to negative 1. So that's going to be negative 3 and positive 2. So that means x can't be 3 and x can't be negative 2. So when I go and write this domain, I'm going to have negative infinity to negative 2, union negative 2 to 3, union 3 to infinity. Now in this denominator, if I set this equal to 0 or say it cannot equal 0, I would get that x cannot be plus or minus 2i. So since only imaginary values would make my denominator 0, this domain would just be negative infinity to infinity. Right, our next section now, we're going to identify vertical asymptotes and holes. And again, this relates to the domain because we're going to find these in similar ways. So if I have a vertical asymptote and a removable point, aka a hole, this occurs so there's two scenarios. If the numerator and the denominator have no common factors, then the graph has just a vertical asymptote at the real zeros of the denominator. If the numerator and the denominator have a common factor, then there's a hole at that real 0. So let's demonstrate this. So if I look at letter A and number 2, they want me to identify the domain, any vertical asymptotes or holes. So first we'll start with the domain. So I see that x plus 1 cannot equal 0, meaning x cannot equal negative 1. So my domain would be negative infinity to negative 1, union negative 1 to infinity. Now, I just have a restriction in my denominator. I don't have something that could simplify with my numerator. So I just have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 1. In terms of holes, I have none. All right, in this example, I need to factor the numerator and the denominator. So multiplies to negative 2 and adds to 1 is going to be positive 2 and negative 1. Multiplies to negative 6 and adds to negative 1 is going to be positive 2 and negative 3. So this will simplify to x minus 1 over x minus 3. Because of this simplification, because of this place that I simplified, I know that I have a hole at negative 2, which I need to find the y value. We'll do that in a second. Because if I have a factor that I can remove, such as x plus 2 over x plus 2, that is where my hole would be. That's what it means by having a common factor in the numerator and the denominator. I have x plus 2 in the numerator and the denominator. But when we do our domain, we need to think about it before it was simplified. So again, x cannot equal negative 2 and x cannot equal 3. So my domain would be negative infinity to negative 2, union negative 2 to 3, union 3 to infinity. And my vertical asymptote would be where my domain is restricted after it's simplified. So x equals 3 is where my vertical asymptote would be. Now to find the y value, or to find this value, my y value of my whole, I'm going to take x and plug it back into this equation. So I'm going to have x minus 1 over x minus 3. So I'm going to have negative 2 minus 1 over negative 2 minus 3. So I'm going to have negative 3 over negative 5, which will be positive 3/5. So when you have a whole, it's a point versus an asymptote is a line. All right, let's try this with C and D. So in C, I need to factor the numerator, so multiplies to negative 10 and adds to negative 3 would be negative 2 and negative 5 and positive 2. In my denominator, I just have a GCF, so it'd be x and x minus 5. Now, before I simplify this, I'm gonna say I know x cannot equal 0 because of this, and x cannot equal 5 because of this factor. So my domain is gonna be negative infinity to 0, union 0 to 5, union 5 to infinity. Now, since I can simplify this common factor in the top and the bottom, and then be left with x plus 2 over x, where I can simplify, that is my whole. So my whole is going to be at 5 comma something. We'll solve for that something in a second. My simplified answer tells me where my vertical asymptote is. I know x cannot equal 0, so my vertical asymptote will be at x equals 0. Now, to solve for the y, I'm going to plug it into this equation. So I'm going to have 5 plus 2 over 5, which would be 7 over 5. So my whole would be at 5 comma 7/5. All right, let's look at D. My top can't be factored, so we'll leave that. My bottom can be factored. And this is fully simplified form. So thinking about my domain, x can't equal negative 2 and x can't equal negative 3. So my domain will be negative infinity to negative 3, union negative 3 to negative 2, union negative 2 to infinity. I'm going to have two vertical asymptotes in this case at x equals negative 2 and at x equals negative 3. I do not have any wholes because I don't have any common factors with my numerator and denominator, kind of like in A. Part set. All right, now we're going to look at end behavior asymptotes. Sometimes these are also called horizontal asymptotes, because they're going to be y equals versus our vertical asymptotes that we did on the other page were x equals. So the location of our end behavior is determined by looking at the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator. So that's really important. So actually, let's highlight that. And so we have three scenarios. Scenario one is when the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator. And in this case, our horizontal asymptote will just be at x equals 0. If the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator, then to find your horizontal asymptote, you're going to do a over b. And a and b are the leading coefficients of your numerator and denominator. The last situation, so top is less than bottom, top is equal to bottom. Now what if the degree of the top is greater than the degree of the bottom? Then it does not have a horizontal asymptote. However, it'll have an oblique asymptote. So that'll still be y equals. It just won't be horizontal. It'll be on a diagonal or oblique. So let's give a few of these a try. So if I look at my numerator and my denominator in A, I can see I have 6x and 3x. So the degree of the numerator is 1, and the degree of the denominator is also 1. So because it's linear over linear, that means if my degrees are equal, I do my asymptote y is going to equal 6 over 3, so it'll be y equals 2. In B, my numerator is linear and my denominator is quadratic. So this is an example of A, where the numerator is less than the denominator. And so since my numerator is 1 and my denominator is 2, that means my horizontal asymptote is just at y equals 0. And then in the last example, I have a quadratic over a linear. So this is our last scenario where we'd have to find the oblique asymptote. So in this last one, we're going to have to do synthetic division to find the equation of our oblique asymptote. So I'm going to do 1 and then 1, 3, 2. So bring down the 1, multiply, add, multiply, add. So I am actually not worried about my remainder at all. I'm just worried that I just want to worry about the part that's the polynomial, so x plus 4. So my oblique asymptote would be at y equals x plus 4. So oblique or a slant asymptote. All right, let's put all of these things together now. So now we want to find the domain, any vertical or end behavior asymptotes, and any holes. So first, let's do our domain. So this denominator will factor into x plus 1 over x minus 1. My numerator will factor into 2 over x plus 1. So based on this denominator, I know x cannot equal -1 or 1. So when I do my domain, it'll be negative infinity to -1, union -1 to 1, union 1 to infinity. Now, I can simplify this with my x plus 1s. So that tells me that I have a hole at -1, and I need to find the y value, but I'll do that in a second. So my simplified version would be 2 over x minus 1. So now the x minus 1 tells me that my vertical asymptote is at x equals 1. And the last thing, well, I need to find the hole, but my end behavior asymptote or my horizontal asymptote, my numerator is smaller than my denominator. So since my numerator degree is less than my denominator degree, my end behavior asymptote will just be at 0. Now the last thing I want to find is the y of my hole. So I'm going to do 2 over -1 minus 1. So it's actually going to be at -1, -1. All right, so let's simplify b. So factor the top and the bottom. And from this, I can see that x cannot be 3 and x cannot be -1. So negative infinity to -1, union -1 to 3, union 3 to infinity. Once I simplify this, I can see that I have a hole at 3. And my simplified equation, my denominator will tell me that I have a vertical asymptote at x equals -1. My end behavior asymptote, when my numerator is equal to my denominator, meaning my degree of my numerator is the same as the degree of my denominator, that means your end behavior asymptote is just your leading coefficient over your leading coefficient. So 1 over 1 would be 1. So my end behavior asymptote would just be at y equals 1. Now I need to solve for the y of my hole. So I'm going to plug that into the remaining equation. And I'll end up with 6 over 4, which will reduce to 3 over 2. All right, let's look at this last one. So my numerator is going to factor. I'm going to have to do some guess and check. 1 well, it multiplies to 1 but adds to -3. So that's going to have to be -1 and -1, because if I do 1 and 1, I'm not going to get a negative. So let's check that. I get -2x minus 1x is -3x. So that is how this will factor over x plus 2. All right, so now, domain. X cannot equal -2. So my domain will be -infinity to -2, union -2 to infinity. And I will also have a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. That's why the domain is restricted. Now, since I don't have any common factors in the numerator or denominator, I have no holes. But I will need to determine my end behavior asymptote, because since my numerator degree is larger than my denominator degree, I'm going to have to do long division to find that. So 2, -3, 1, -4, -7, 14, 15. Again, I don't care about this. It's going to be 2x minus 7. So my end behavior asymptote will be at y equals 2x minus 7.